Hi everyone, welcome back to the Purple Tulip workshop, and I'm your host Shipra. Today I'm going to be taking you through the steps of how to make a credit card or a coin pouch. I call it a CC pouch, and I'm going to be using the Alpine Stitch for this project. So let's get started. So for this project we will be requiring a cotton thread. I'm using a size 20 by Red Rose, and I'll be using somewhere around 3 balls of this. We will require a locking pin, a broad-eye needle also known as a darning needle, a scissors, and a steel hook. I'm using a size 1.25 mm, which is the same as a size 8 in the US, and a zip of a size of 8 inches. So let's get started with this project. So today for this project of this coin purse, I'm going to be working with this cotton thread. And earlier on in our video, I have shown you a trick of making this thin thread into a thicker thread. So I'm going to use that same trick over here. You can refer to that video from the link above. So I'm going to pull onto this yarn, this loop, as long as I want. It's up to you. You can just pull it on as long as you want it. And then I'm going to pull this running thread through it. So now I have a thicker yarn or a thread. And there is the joint. So because it's a crochet project, I'm going to start up again with our slip knot over here. Now we're going to be making our foundation chain of 60. We require a foundation chain in even numbers here. So I'm going to now make a chain of 60. I'm going to be pausing my video now, and I'll just come back once I've completed that. So I've done my foundation chain of 60. And now we're going to start with a stitch called the Alpine Stitch. So I'm going to be working on the second loop. So the loop on the hook is never counted. So that's the first loop and that's the second loop. So I'm going to do a single crochet all the way through on the back loops. So I'm going to complete the single crochet row, and I'm going to come back. I'm going to pause my video. I'm going to come back once I've done that. Now that I've completed the first row, so I've done 60 single crochets all the way through on that foundation chain. We're going to move on to the second row, and for the second row I'm going to do chain 2, and then I'm going to turn my work around, and then I'm going to do a double crochet all the way through the second row as well. To pause my video, and I'll just come back once I've finished this row. Now I've just finished the second row by doing the double crochet all the way through. I'm going to now do a chain 1. I'm going to turn my work around, and I'm going to do a single crochet in the same first stitch, and then I'm going to do a single crochet all the way through till the end. So I finished doing the single crochet on the third row, And now we're going to do a chain 2, and then I'm going to turn my work around, and now we're going to start doing our Alpine stitch. So for the Alpine stitch, we're not going to work on the first stitch over here because there we already have a chain 2, which is working as the first double crochet in that row. Now we're going to do a front post double crochet, and for that we're going to be working on this post over here. So if you look carefully, this is the first double crochet in the second row that we did, and this is the second one. So for the front post double crochet, we're going to be inserting a hook like this. So I'm going to have my yarn over the hook. Then I'm going to take my hook underneath this front post like this, and then I'm going to do yarn over. I'll bring my yarn up. I'm going to stretch onto the yarn a little bit, pull the yarn up so that I have the height of my double crochet there, then yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. So this is the Alpine stitch that I'll be doing in this project, and you can refer to my Alpine stitch tutorial from the link above. And now I'm going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. So I'm going to do a front post, then a double crochet in the next stitch, then a front post. So I'm going to do an Alpine stitch for this coin clutch that I've shown you earlier. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few more rows, and then I'll come back. So I've come to the end of completing this particular material that we'll be using for our CC pouch. So I've done somewhere around 45 rows, that's including the single crochet rows. So that's 45 rows, that's coming up somewhere around 4 inches long. And we have the length over here as 8 inches. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be closing up this particular swatch. So we'll be doing a chain 1, and we'll lock this particular swatch. I'm going to just snip up the ends here. So I can just bring this into this existing loop that we had, or we're going to put this into our darning needle and we'll lock it. So I'll just complete the swatch. I'm gonna then weave in the ends over here, and I'll just come back once. So I've woven in the tail ends over here and over here. Now I'll just show you what this swatch looks like. So this is what the Alpine stitch looks like. You have these front post double crochet falling alternatively. It gives you a nice alpine look. So I'm going to now get hold of my zip. So I've chosen a peach zip. It is an 8-inch long zip. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be splitting the zip into half. I'm not going to use both the ends. I'm going to use only one of the ends. So I'm going to split it up. I'm going to open this end, and I'll just come back. So I've split the zip into 2. I've taken the middle portion out from here, and I'm just going to use one end of the zip, and we're going to be stitching. This is the front side of a swatch, so I'm going to be stitching in the zip on the back side. So I'll turn my zip around, And I'm going to be using the same thread that I did early on to make the swatch. I've just got it in a wider needle, and we're going to just quickly lock this thread, tail end of this particular thread. Instead of putting a knot in the end of the thread, I'm going to just lock it in. You can do it in a loop style, like this. And now I'm going to stitch it at the top portion of my swatch, and I'm going to keep the edge of the zip a little bit out because I want the peach shade of the zip to show through. I'm going to just stitch this in. I'm going to use the original loops of my swatch, and it will hide the thread as well. It will not show through. So I'm going to quickly stitch the zip all the way through with hand, and I'm going to just come back. So I'm back. I've just finished stitching the zip in onto the swatch with my hands. Now the next part is where we're going to fold this in, right side inside, wrong side outside, and we're going to be stitching in the bottom portion by hand. So I'm going to use the same thread, and I'm going to get the corners meeting end. We're going to place in a loop over here. I'm not going to put a lock at the tail end. I'm going to make a loop to lock the thread in. So I'm going to hold this tail, and we got a loop over here. Now I'm going to just take my needle in and makes loop. Lock this in like this. It's like a blanket stitch that you normally do. So I have my thread over here, and we put the needle through, creating a nice long loop. Creates this loop over here. It's like a blanket stitch. I'm gonna just complete this till the end, and I'm just gonna come back. I'm gonna pause my video now. So I've done the blanket stitch over here, and I'm gonna just place in a knot over here. I'm gonna seal this tail end. And we can then just snip up the tail end. So if we turn our work around, we'll have the bottom portion also sealed. And we have the zip on the top. And now what we need to do is we're going to place in the runner of the zip, and then we're going to stitch this particular pouch like this. So both the ends will be stitched like this now. So I'm going to first place in my runner, and I'm going to be just coming back in a minute. And I want the runner facing top. So I've got the runner nearly in. So I've got the runner in, and I've got it facing up so that when we close up the pouch, it will close up like this. And now I'm going to just lock this end portion of my zip because I don't want the runner coming out. So I've got my needle in, and we're just going to lock up this particular portion of the zip. I'm going to put some straight stitches over here, and that will lock up the end portion. So we're going to put stitches in like this, and I'm just going to come back. I'm going to pause my video now. I'm going to come back in a minute. Now I've got the lock in. It will now help me to move forward. I'm going to open up my zip like this, and we're going to turn this pouch inside out so that we can stitch that bottom portion in from the wrong side. So I've got my pouch turned inside out, and now we're going to be stitching the pouch in like this. So we'll meet up the center with the center over here, and I'm going to again make my loop to lock my thread. Make a plus over here, lock it. And I'm going to do a blanket stitch again all the way through, and I'm going to pause my video, and I'll come back once I finish this. So I've completed this with the blanket stitch all the way through, and I've snipped the zip over here. Now we're just going to place in a knot to lock this stitch. Here we are. Now we're going to turn this inside out, bring the wrong side out. There we go. So here we are. Our CC pouch is ready. It's a nice triangle pyramid, semi-triangle pyramid shape. It's a really cute, swankies. And this is a wonderful gift item as well. I mean, if you can give it to your family and friends. So it's really up to you. So here we are. The pouch is ready and cute and sweet. So if you like this video, then do give it a thumbs up, and do subscribe to my channel from the link below, and click onto the bell icon for the latest updates. Take care for now. Bye bye.